It smells like a great day for baseball from Detroit, Michigan and Comerica Park. It's the Pirates and the Detroit Tigers in Game 2 of this two-game series. And welcome into the booth, Joe Block along with John Wehner. Glad you're with us here on a matinee here today. And first for the Pirates, you were looking at another good pitching performance. They hope to get one today from Juan Nicasio.
I tell you what, since Juan Nicasio has put on the Pirates uniform, he's been outstanding. He had one of the most impressive spring trainings I've ever seen, and it carried over into the regular season. His first start as a Bucco, 6 innings, just a 1 run, 2 hits. Didn't walk anybody. I think that's key for any pitcher. Nicasio, just a 2-pitch guy. Fastball slider went through that Cardinals lineup fairly easily. That slider is swing and miss when he wants it to be. He could throw it for strikes. He was able to locate the fastball, both 4-seamer and 2-seamer. Works it in, out, up, and down. Outstanding stuff. Swing and miss stuff with just both those pitches.
And they've gotten a lot of offense because they've really been grinding out at bats. And today, you know, it's really interesting. You have a National League team with a designated hitter leading it off today, and Matt Joyce will get his second start as a DH.
Yeah, typically teams in the National League don't carry DHs, but Joyce did a great job yesterday coming out a big RBI base hit the other way off of Verlander. Later on, gets a hanging changeup, pulls it. That's been his approach. Hit the fastball the other way, pull the off-speed pitch. It's always important, I think, when you have bench players, you just don't want them to be pinch hitters. You want them to be able to contribute when they get into the lineup, and that's what we saw with him and Sean Rodriguez yesterday.
And Beryl tells us about the offense, which has been very, very good in those at-bats.
I tell you what, 270 with 2 strikes. I mean, that's going to be hard to sustain. Most teams hit around 200. I'm surprising they're only 4th best with pitches per plate appearances because they've been grinding. Starting pitchers on the other side can't go 5 innings because these guys are just grinding through it, drawing their walks, getting base hits, seeing a bunch of pitches. It's been a lot of fun to watch this different kind of offense.
Only 2 starting pitchers have even pitched into the 6th inning against the Pirates so far this year, and Anibal Sanchez will try to do that.
Yeah, Sanchez, a veteran, has been a solid starter, typically a guy that likes to get ground balls, but last year the Pirates faced him once. 3 home runs in that start back in April. He gave up 29 bombs last year. You see, in interleague, he's been pretty good, just over 4, but overall last year, 10-10 of 499, not what the Tigers expected from him.
Yeah, 29 home runs given up for Sanchez last year, led all of baseball, and the Pirates pounding out 17 hits yesterday. Can they do it again here today? The finale of this 2-game series coming up next, right here on Root Sports.
Health Network, Health for All. By Bordas & Bordas, official legal partners of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Visit BordasLaw.com. And by Day Automotive, we're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Here in Detroit, the Pirates getting ready, trying to make this a 2-game sweep. As the Tigers will follow the Pirates back to Pittsburgh after this one. So I don't know if you counted a 2-game series, 4-game series, but 2 games here at Comerica Park. A sweep is a sweep is a sweep.
Yeah, I've never known how to differentiate that. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. 2-game series, 2-game series.
The 2-2 series. There's number 2-2, Andrew McCutchen. A lot of Pirate faithful making their way here to Detroit. Nice ride over. Just about a 5-hour drive. And here's our Rivers Casino tips to win for today.
Let's mix in a long ball. I just have a feeling Anibal Sanchez, a guy that was pretty good at getting ground balls, gave up a lot of long balls last year, and not only throughout the year, but to the Pirates 3 in his one start against the Bucks. And I'm looking for another good one from Nicasio. It's hard to do better than he did his last time out against the St. Louis Cardinals, but man, this stuff is electric. It's swing and miss. It's velocity. One of the better sliders you'll see. So hopefully we'll get another good one from Nicasio.
Yeah, the Pirates have only hit 2 home runs, but they're leading baseball in on-base percentage. We saw it yesterday, grinding out 17 hits, getting on base every inning. And another good lineup today as Clint Hurdle shaking things up just a little bit here in the American League ballparks with the designated hitter Matt Joyce, who was in there yesterday.
Pretty good day for Matt Joyce, and I'm not sure how often he's hitting the leadoff spot, but
always fun. I think hitters like to hit early in ball games too. When you're hitting 7, 8, 9, and if the pitcher's on, you might not hit for the first time until the 3rd inning. That could be a little frustrating, kind of feel out of the loop a little bit. So hopefully Joyce will continue today.
And here's our RAV4 lineup. National League team with the DH leading it off in Joyce, and then Andrew McCutchen in his now familiar 2 spot. David Freese back in there. Marte, Cervelli, and Polanco. 9 walks, tied for baseball's lead. 3-hit game yesterday. Josh Harris and Michael Morris's first start, and then Jordy Mercer in the 9th spot. Against the Tigers, Anibal Sanchez.
Sanchez, you'll see his numbers from last year, 10-10, just under 5 the ERA. Throws an assortment of pitches. The fastball's low 90s, average rate around 92 miles per hour. We'll throw a curveball, a slider, a changeup, occasional cutter. So lots to offer from Sanchez. Pirate hitters will look to get him up and hopefully take him deep.
And John Jaso getting a day off today and decided to use that time to shave.
Look at that. Looks good.
I was going to say he looks 10 years younger, but then he wouldn't be a teenager, so couldn't really do that. But as long as he keeps those locks, that's okay. And at our Honda defense today, Upton Ghost back in there, JD Martinez, Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Cabrera, and then Jared Saltalamacchia is in there today, as James McCann had to be placed on the DL for the Tigers today. Collided with Jaso yesterday, and a right ankle sprain that will keep him out. And in there for the Pirates, the former Tiger Matt Joyce. Fouls it off to start things.
And you always wonder with a leadoff hitter, especially somebody that doesn't do it regularly, like Matt Joyce comes in, sees the lineup. Is he determined to swing at the first pitch once he sees that he's in the lineup, or is it the approach? We've talked so much about the approach and looking for a good pitch to hit and swinging unless it's in that area you're looking. But I think when you're batting leadoff, you almost make that determination early. Some do that aren't in there regularly.
And he's done it before, but yet, like you said, not regularly and not recently. In his time with the Rays, see if he can beat out a ground ball. Castellanos gets his man. And Joyce is out to start the ball game.
We'll see a bang play, and Matt Joyce put his arms to the side as if he were safe. Clint Hurdle came out of the dugout briefly and returned. They will not review this one. I think it helped the Detroit defense, the shift that they were in. The third baseman, Castellanos, was over so far, had a pretty good angle at that ball.
Andrew McCutchen. Back to the 2 spot today, and yesterday, first 4 times he came up, every time he came up when he didn't lead off the inning, he came up with men aboard.
He's had his chances. That was the one question mark. A lot of us wondered, at least, that in that 2 spot in the order, will he get as many RBI opportunities?
So far, it seems like he's had a few. And Castellanos
missed it.
He could not get that ball, and McCutchen, running it out, is aboard at first.
When you're playing third base and you have a guy up there with a great bat speed like Andrew McCutchen possesses, you know the ball is going to get on you in a hurry. And that one looked like it had some hook to it, and it just kind of tied up Castellanos, his hands, and a little handcuffed. Got through him. And they're determining whether to score that a hit or an error.
They're going to assess an error on Castellanos. Look at our Allegheny Health Network Supermo.
And that's almost a complete whiff off the thumb.
David Freese takes a strike.
It's actually an easier play if it's to your left or your right. When it's right at you, you know, it's hard to gauge sometimes which way to turn that glove, whether to flip to the backhand or, you know, obviously with the ball hooking the way it was, kind of hard to keep the palm up on your glove and make that play.
David Freese getting a day off yesterday. Started off hot, hit in his first 4, and then a couple of offers. Clint Hurdle said, okay, take a game off, get back in there.
And Clint Hurdle throughout the year, especially with the veteran guys, he has a tendency to rest guys on travel days or the day after travel days. You know, especially if you know, you have a long flight and you're getting in late or whatever the case may be. But Clint does a terrific job of keeping his guys fresh, getting his bench guys at bats.
And coming up today, because it's Tuesday, it's Twitter Tuesday. And Robbie's going to have a lot from John Jaso this afternoon. McCutchen running. And that throw beat him by a lot. Well, Saltalamacchia, who's in there for McCann, made a good throw.
And not the greatest jump from Andrew McCutchen, but a very strong, accurate throw. You can see there, Kinsler didn't even have to move the glove. Freese kind of held his ground, trying to make the throw a little more difficult for Saltalamacchia, but boy, right on the money.
And it'll be a tidy inning for Sanchez. And Detroit coming to bat against Juan Nicasio. Hank Greenberg, former Pirate, and Ty Cobb immortalized here. And the Tigers lineup today: Ian Kinsler, Justin Upton, Miguel Cabrera, the same three as yesterday, as is Victor Martinez, good interleague player. J.D. Martinez, no relation, and Castellanos. Saltalamacchia in there with McCann going on the DL today. Anthony goes back in center field, and Jose Iglesias is hitting all five for the Tigers. And we will see Juan Nicasio.
Juan Nicasio, his numbers brought to you by Hyundai. 6 innings, just 2 hits. 1 run was a homer. No walks, just 84 pitches to get through those 6 innings. And did it primarily with the fastball slider. Did throw a few changeups. But the bread and butter, the sinker slider.
Ian Kinsler will stand in. And 1 pitch, 1 out. Michael Morse handles that one. And let's look at some Point Park tweets for today. Uh-oh, there we go. Dominic, same kind of a sense of humor as you, Rock. 1:10 start time. Let's see Nicasio spit hot fire today. Juan we trust from Dom.
I actually plagiarized. I took that. Actually, last time he pitched, there was all the Juan references in the tweets, and so yeah, I kind of stole it.
See if he can have a wonderful day on the mound, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You better save that one up.
Yeah.
You can use that. I didn't copyright it. 1-1 to Justin Upton. One for 3 yesterday for the Tigers left fielder, big free agent signee. Hit a long way to center field. And Upton with his first Tigers run batted in, a home run to dead center and beyond. 1-0 Detroit.
It's 420 to straightaway center here at Comerica Park. And I thought it went over the camera well out there. I could be wrong, but you saw the breaking ball. Look at the location there. Thigh high, outer half, and into the camera well.
That is a long home run. Here's Miguel Cabrera.
You see the breaking ball just doesn't have the location or the break. When you leave the breaking ball up, it doesn't have the angle. It doesn't have the downward tilt. And a souvenir for our cameraman.
Well, Mark has got one. Hopefully he'll catch some Pirates balls today out there. Big news story locally yesterday was a guy behind home plate caught 5.
Yeah, 5 foul balls. Well, I'm afraid to say Mark will not get another ball this year, or maybe in his lifetime in the center field camera well. That is very rare. That's as rare as catching 5 foul balls in a game.
Yeah. Nicasio behind 2-1. And outside 3-1. Well, we talked about in the open about, a big reason for his success has been location, and we'll continue to follow that as we go through to see how consistent he can be.
Yeah, I think that's always the key. Getting ahead. And when you fall behind, most pitchers, especially a 3-1 count, nobody on, the hitter knows what he's going to see. It's going to be a fastball. Now Nicasio careful with the great hitting Cabrera, so tried to run it in off the plate, but Cabrera not biting.
So Victor Martinez to come up, and a very strong right-handed batting lineup here. Of course, Martinez a switch hitter. But we saw John Neese able, as a left-hander, work through a right-handed lineup yesterday. And I thought he had an excellent command yesterday.
Yeah, very good stuff and good movement. And he has good stuff. And when you see guys, especially like you mentioned, in a veteran established lineup, right-handed, like the Tigers threw out there yesterday, and you saw how many times they swung out of the zone. John Neese was in the zone as well, but also purposefully threw the ball out of the zone and got a bunch of chases. That goes to show, stuff, good stuff. Good movement will get established hitters to chase from time to time. Fairly straight away in the outfield. The infield, 3 infielders on the right side.
They've been playing that on Martinez even before the shift became popular.
Yeah.
They call that home run 451 feet. So that would have even gotten out at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, that's you see a fly ball go to center, you don't expect it to leave the ballpark, let alone land in the camera well.
One.
What was the fence?
440 to dead center.
Wow.
When the Tigers moved into here, that was the deepest part in any ballpark at that time. And it's still 420 here, and you think about, okay, what's that, another 15, maybe 20 feet up above the wall? Long wait, trying to hold the runner, then 1-2. Temperature 43 degrees at game time. It's cold today. And it's been a cold start to the season. I've been talking with the pitchers to find out how is it challenging, how is it not challenging. Most of it is just state of mind, they say, but they do have a hard time a lot of times getting the spin on the ball, and in this case it would be for Nicasio and the slider. Take a look at that as the day goes on. Two. Now full.
I know it's not fun to hit in the cold weather. Although for some, I think they concentrate a little harder to not get jammed or to hit the ball off the bat, and maybe it will help your patience to go up there and maybe try to shorten things up and maybe not overswing.
Cabrera at first with 1 out, and the 3-2, and a walk again. I don't know if we saw Nicasio in spring training walk 2 guys in an outing.
No, but
he didn't walk any in his first start.
If you look at last year, all but 1 outing out of the bullpen. It didn't have the best command. 32 walks in 58 in the 3rd innings.
Yeah, that's 5 walks per 9 inning almost last year. I mean, it was the highest of his career. So.
But not enough to say he's wild or anything like that. But there have been struggles with command in the past, and he's not one of those guys that's gonna paint corners and consistently keep the ball down. He has good enough stuff to where he doesn't have to like be perfect with his location. He can afford to miss with location and still get away with it because his fastball and slider is so good.
JD Martinez in there. Homered yesterday. He's hit safely in all 5 games. The Tigers have had a couple of postponements. This is game number 8 for the Pirates. got some sunshine here today. And it's going to warm up this week, so we'll start to have some baseball weather.
And today it's about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday here in Detroit, but it doesn't feel it. I mean, it's nice and calm, not much of a wind. The sun definitely makes a difference.
John Neese pitching yesterday, getting the wind. One and a base hit. Going to wave home Cabrera, and he'll still score. And the Tigers have a 2-0 lead.
The ball was hit hard, got out to Marte, and you saw where he came up with it kind of towards the line, so you think he has no chance of throwing out anybody, but Cabrera doesn't run very well, and Mercer got rid of it very quickly, and I think his intent was to hit Jordy Mercer and maybe have an outside chance of getting Cabrera, who doesn't run well. Now Jordy, or any shortstop on a ball hit the left or you think or anticipate a play at the plate, his job is to go cover third while the third baseman becomes the relay man. But I think Marte was kind of hoping that Jordy would hold his ground and maybe was trying to throw that to Mercer, because if Mercer kind of stops out there and just beyond the infield dirt, they may have had a shot at Cabrera. Cabrera, again, doesn't run well and was, I don't think, even at the bag at third when Marte let go of that ball. So, but then again, I mean, that would have to be some crazy instinctual play because for Jordy Mercer, his whole career, base hit the left, he's went to cover the bag at third.
He's one of the few guys that you would even consider doing that if you had that heads up. Cabrera's among the slowest. That's why he hits the ball out of the ballpark every time. Doesn't have to run. There's Castellanos. Tigers with 2 first-inning runs. Hitting at .353 for the righty.
Jordy Mercer's heading over to cover third, and he kind of actually turned his head when he saw the throw come in. But you saw where Cabrera was when Marte let it go. No fault or anything. I'm just saying if things align perfectly, maybe you have a chance at Cabrera.
And only because he's a very below average runner. That's the only chance you would ever have to get to somebody.
Yeah, most runners that are at second base on that ball, they're scoring easily without any panic. Cabrera had some panic and slid home.
Two on, 1 out. 1-2. 94 from Nicasio.
So far, very early in the game, and again, you mentioned it, Joe, maybe the cold weather, maybe the grip on the ball, but the bite on the slider today isn't what we've seen in that first start against the Cardinals, certainly in spring training. Even when he hung sliders, we saw a lot of swings and misses, not home runs to center, you know, and it's kind of a good indicator.
And Castellanos down on strikes. And here's today's Allegheny Health Network injury update. James McCann yesterday spraining his right ankle on the play, colliding there with John Jaso, and X-rays were negative, which was good news, but he was placed on the 15-day DL today. He said he couldn't feel his foot or his lower leg after that collision with Jaso, and that's why he lay on the ground for a little bit. But on the DL, first time he's ever been injured as a collegiate or a pro, James McCann. First game he's missed because of injury, he said.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I guess it looked ugly when it happened.
He said he felt fortunate to get out of just that.
Yeah, a break or a more severe sprain.
So instead we see Saltalamacchia. And the Tigers calling up Bobby Wilson to be the backup catcher. They traded their backup catcher Brian Holiday to the Rangers, who actually lost their catcher already this season. So the chain continues, I suppose. You never have too much catching. Meanwhile, Elias Diaz have not got an update on him recently. They set to begin the year in Indianapolis, but he's on the Major League disabled list. Elbow discomfort at the end of spring training. Well, it's been a tough inning for Nicasio, but he can get out of it with just a couple of runs. One-two. I've noticed too, you talk about the slider command, the fastball command has not been very good so far.
For the most part, up in the zone too. For whatever reason, I'm sure Ray Searage will offer up any suggestions, anything he sees that might be able to improve the command.
It's better down, but he missed.
Just a little bit off the plate.
Seemed like he got better extension and followed through a little bit more on that delivery. Isn't that the key though? Sometimes guys got to kind of fix themselves out there.
Yes, hopefully you could feel it and recognize it and make the adjustments. I think there are some parallels between hitting and pitching, and you hear if a pitcher pulls open or flies off, that arm will drag and the release point is a little further back. You don't get the extension that you want.
Gets it there on his 30th pitch of the inning. Nicasio strikes out Saltalamacchia to end the threat. A couple of runs for Detroit through 1-2 Tigers.
From starting today here at Comerica Park. I'm Robbie Smikowski. Today is Twitter Tuesday on Root Sports. And John Jaso was asked by Jeremy, how much work do you have to put into your hair?
Pretty much zero. I mean, I do wash it. I do wash my hair. I got a lot of fans yelling at me to wash it, and I do wash my hair. It's like, twice a week or whatever, but it stays pretty clean. And other than that, there's very little maintenance that goes into it. Just kind of wake up and go in the morning.
Who would have thought? Just throw a hat on your head get her going. Just grow out some dreads. Joe, we'll see if you can do it one day. Maybe you can. Never mind.
Yeah. You know, I could. They would just only grow part of out of, you know, like kind of maybe here and a few here. And, yeah.
I think the best part is like Jaso, you just get out of bed, you're set. You don't have to fix anything.
I buy 1 bottle of shampoo a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Prep
and
time
travel size.
Yeah. Travel size.
That's all I need. And Twitter Tuesday on Point Park tweets here. If no one asks John Jaso about the dreads, I call shenanigans. Yeah, that's everyone. Everyone wants to know. So he washes it twice a week. Low maintenance. And it looks good. You know, not a lot of guys can pull that off. And look, the Pirates have to have someone with dreads.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess so.
Right? I mean, you know, after McCutcheon cut his hair, I mean, we got, okay, who's next? So Jaso's.
You don't have to have a guy with dreads.
Did you ever have dreads?
I never had dreads.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised.
Never dreads.
Yeah, no, that's pretty tight too. So I mean, you know, but you got to have somebody. You got to have, you know, the long-haired guy, right?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you know, I'm not opposed to it, but you don't have to. I mean, I used to in high school have the long curly hair a little bit. Now it's, again, it was too much maintenance.
Yeah.
And when the teachers didn't let me wear a hat, I looked ridiculous. So that's why I cut it. Cervelli got good hair.
Oh, some of the best.
But there's some maintenance, I'm guessing.
That's tremendous flow right there. Locks. Cole Maine there is pretty good too.
Sean Rodriguez got nice.
He ties his up.
Wavy hair.
I had hair at one point. Yeah. Got the high top. I could never dye my hair. I dyed it clear. I guess it just went away. Marte drives one to center. In this big ballpark, Gose has room. Pretty heavy ball out there, I guess.
Marte hits this well. It's out of some ballparks. So not as cool as he wanted to be.
Cervelli starts with a strike. That's not how a Gold Glover does it.
I was looking through some baseball news, and former Pirate catcher Eric Kratz, I guess when he got announced yesterday in Houston, running out to the line, he fell flat on his face. They had a carpet, and he tripped and fell on his face.
Well, how many times is there a carpet on a baseball field?
They had one in Boston also, I saw. They had the red carpet out.
That actually happened a couple of years ago to the Brewers' Willie Peralta. They had a carpet in Boston. He came out and fell on that. Keep the carpets at home, guys.
Exactly.
Guys know how to run out to the baseline. They don't know about these carpets. Cervelli deep to right. Martinez with room.
Talked about Sanchez, and a lot of fly balls allowed. 29 leaving the ballpark. Both Marte and Cervelli here in the second, just missing. Both of them hit the ball pretty well, but didn't quite get the extension to get all of it, to knock it out of the ballpark. But two pretty good swings, not missing by much.
Yeah, those 29 home runs, most allowed in baseball last year, but Sanchez, when healthy, has been one of baseball's best.
Doobie, veteran pitching coach.
Good to see a little of Gene Lamont. Okay, so more on the ground, but that's usually you're thinking about more like 2-1 if you're a real ground ball. Well, not quite 2-1, but closer to that if you're a real ground ball pitcher. Gregory Polanco, 381, and 9 walks to go with that. Nine walks against 4 strikeouts for Polanco this year.
Sanchez, you go back to 13 where his ERA was just 2.57. His home run per 9 innings was 0.4.
And that was the best in baseball.
In 14 it was 0.3. Last year 1.7 home runs per 9 innings.
So he's led the league in both ways.
Yep.
In that regard. But he's healthy this year, so they're hoping that he will return to his usual form. So weird to think about this Tiger outfit last year being at the bottom of the American League Central. You just don't think that, but they were really riddled with injuries.
Everybody has to deal with them. Some can overcome if they're minimal. And I guess some injuries can destroy your season.
Miguel Cabrera, the anchor, will be here until he's, I think, into his 40s. The last extension that he signed. Polanco works his 10th walk of the year. That leads all of baseball. And Sunday is the first Kids Day of the season. The Bucks battle the Brewers at 1:35, and all kids 14 and younger receive a Josh Harrison gnome. Compliments of Trip Total Media. For tickets, go to pirates.com. I was having dinner at my mom's house last night, and she said she's got dibs on the Josh Harrison gnome.
Nice.
So I got to give that to her next time I see her. Assuming we get one, Rock, do we get one of those, or do we have to
typically
be a fan too?
We have a drawer, and so if you get to your drawer before Steve Blass gets to your drawer,
okay,
you'll have a gnome.
Well, I don't want him in my drawer.
Yeah, we usually, if there are extras, we will be provided with the promotional items. And my mom claims a lot of my stuff.
She says, I want the gnome. I said, you don't even know who Josh Harrison is yet.
Does she have a garden?
She does have a garden. She's quite the gardener.
So she'll put it in the garden?
Yes, she wants the gnome in the garden. She's an avid watcher, probably watching today.
My mom wants anything with Cervelli on it.
Can't blame her.
She's a big Cervelli fan.
Rip and a miss. On a strike on Harrison. Now the Pirates with 17 hits yesterday, looking for their first one here in the second. One. Now ball and 2 strikes.
Got away with a couple of pitches there to Josh Harrison. Fastballs up and out over the plate.
One, 2. Nice backhanded stop by Saltalamacchia. Michael Morse on deck, number 8 hitter this afternoon. Jaso getting a day off so he could talk to Robbie about tweets. Now, just to clarify, Jaso's okay after that collision yesterday. Stayed in the game, just getting a routine day off today.
Yeah, good.
That's why Morris is in there.
And numbers are not good against Sanchez, so may have been scheduled a couple of days in advance. As Jaso just 1 for 16 against Sanchez.
Jaso looking pretty fresh too. But yeah, and Clint Hurdle was talking about that today, about what they look at with those numbers. There's a base hit for Harrison, first of the day for the Pirates. And he was saying, you know, how many he actually cited a similar ball like that that got through between short and third, and he said, you know, sometimes you can look at a guy and he say, you know, 5 for 8 against a guy, but 5 ground balls rolled through short and third, or you know, did he hit the wall and a couple of times and line out the other times, for instance. So that's how he kind of determines matchups.
Saw there with the replay of Josh Harrison's base hit, they showed the WB Mason strike zone, and 4 balls pretty much middle. If he stays there, Sanchez will get hit.
Especially against Michael Morse. Looking for his first hit of the season. 2 on with 2 out. Already a 24 pitch inning for Sanchez. Morse's first start of the season.
Sanchez mentioned earlier 5 different pitches and not a lot of separation in the velocity of 4 of those. The curveball he'll throw in the 70s, but we haven't seen any of those yet. But already we've seen fastball, cutter, slider, and they're all about 5 miles an hour apart. Even there, that's a hard slider at 84. We've seen the cutter like 86, the fastball, a couple have been clocked 88, 89. Nice little block there by Saltalamacchia. It's just barely getting the left side. I don't know if it got him on the arm or the left hip, but keeping Polanco at second, more importantly Harrison at first. Move 2 up, a base hit ties it.
Still 1 and 2 on Morse. Now you talk about, because there's not a lot of separation velocity wise for Sanchez, why is that not a good thing for him?
Well, if he leaves it up, it's going to get hit at some point in time. There's a difference. If you're cutting a ball and it's just running off the lower part of the plate, outside corner, and running off, or you throw a 2-seamer, it's just running in. You know, pretty good pitches. You know, you got one pitch going in one direction, the other going in the opposite direction. But when you leave it in the middle, and there's not a big, I mean, hitters, it's all about timing, and most go up there, they look for fastball, and they're adjusting off of that. Now, if you're looking for a fastball, let's say at 88, 90 miles an hour, and you're looking for up out over the plate, and he throws you a slider or a cutter at 86 or 85 miles an hour up and over the plate, I mean, timing shouldn't be that off.
Morse, hard grounder, but Iglesias gets the out. Pirates threatened but failed to score here in the second. edition of Inside Pirates Baseball. The Buccos are a prime example of baseball's shift in becoming a world game. Plus, Rick Sofield shines on the mic. That and more on Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, today after postgame right here on Root Sports. 2-0 Detroit. And looking at our tweets today on Twitter Tuesday, if my man Rick Sofield had dreads, now that would be awesome. I would like to see that. I don't know if you could get extensions on. He keeps it pretty short.
Sure. If he could get extensions, he'd wear them just to entertain.
Always upbeat and buzzing around. Almost played at the University of Michigan. Decided to sign with the Twins instead, Rick Sofield. Nicasio working the ghost here. I thought he started to kind of get on track toward the end of that first inning.
Yeah, a little bit better.
Getting ahead of hitters, right?
Yeah, getting some balls down in the zone, I think, is the important thing. Like, again, I mentioned it last inning. He can get away with pitches up in the zone at times. I don't think you can live there. I don't think you can continually throw the ball up there. In fact, yesterday, Verlander, for the most part, was up in the zone with his curveball and his fastball. As Cervelli trying to steal a pitch, held the glove there, didn't get the call. It was down.
Cervelli shaking off the pitcher. You will not throw a slider. Now, why is the catcher shaking off the pitcher, or is he doing something else?
Basically, what the catcher's doing is he wants the hitter to think that the pitcher's shaking off. For that instance, Cervelli wanted a fastball, and he didn't want the hitter to think fastball. So if you have Nicasio, who basically throws two pitches, shaking a couple of times, he's probably not the fastball or slider, maybe, and so maybe he's thinking Ghost will think it's something off speed, something other than a fastball. That last pitch, a ball, but I think it was executed the way he wanted to execute it. I think he wanted to start it in the strike zone, have it break off. He was expecting a chase there, a good take from Anthony Ghost.
Now 3-2 to the Tiger leadoff man. Base hit to start the second.
In the 3-2 fastball, Ghost knows it's coming. It's pretty much quite the middle of the plate. A little bit off the end of the bat. J-Hay, not enough height.
That's why he gets the gnome giveaway. Here's Jose Iglesias, 421. He's hit in all 5 games for Detroit. All-Star a year ago. Fine fielder, but the bat started to come around, hit over 300 last year.
Have a guy hitting 9th that can hit 300. It's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, the American League, it just turns over. You don't get to that bottom of the lineup, and with the DH, you don't keep a lot of those utility type guys.
It certainly helps if you got a productive guy in that 9th spot, especially when you got a guy like Miguel Cabrera batting 3rd. You give him more opportunities to drive in runs.
2-0 Tigers. We're in the second. Strike to Iglesias. Kind of uncharted waters for Nicasio, since he's worn that Pirate P on him. He's never given up 2 runs.
Yeah.
In a whole outing.
Really, so many innings have been a breeze. So easy. He was extremely efficient in his first start. He was efficient in spring training. Command early on hasn't been great. Tigers hitters have been patient.
Oh, 2. This one is foul.
I go back to that game in Sarasota that got so much news about Nicasio, the 10 strikeouts in the 4 innings. I wouldn't say he had perfect location that day, but the movement and he was up at times, but he was getting swings and misses at everything. It didn't matter. He had great break on the slider, good movement on the fastball.
Another 0-2.
And in a lot of these pitches that he's been throwing, he expects swing and miss, because that's what he's gotten for the most part through spring training in his first start. But the Tigers are doing a good job of making him work, kind of like what we've seen with the Pirate offense the early part of this season. Battling, wasting pitches.
Now Sanchez needed 29 pitches in his last half inning. Nicasio 30 in his first. Both teams grinding out at bats. Another 0-2. Runners trying for it, and goes for that good speed, gets into second.
And that's all about anticipation. Anticipating the ball in the dirt and not even waiting to see where it goes. He noticed that the ball was going in the dirt. He anticipated it being in the dirt. He took off immediately. Watch how quickly he goes. There was no waiting to see how far it kicked away from Cervelli. He saw it was in the dirt and took off. And with that kind of speed, unless that ball's right next to Cervelli, he's going to beat it out.
And Polanco able to get out number 1. And fireworks light up the sky on Saturday at PNC Park. Watch the Pirates and the Brewers at 7:05 and stay after the game for a spectacular Zam Valley fireworks show presented by First Energy. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Come and join us. Pirates returning home after this one. And a nice homestand for the rest of the week and weekend. And thanks to those who made their way here. I'm excited that we're going to see those hats on Sunday. Similar to those. The black pillbox hats. There's a strike.
Joe, you obviously have ties to the Pittsburgh area. Your wife from there.
Yes.
Have you heard of the Zambellis?
Yes. Well, there we go. Yeah, we're going to see those hats.
I assumed that they were world famous, the Zambellis. They're the best.
They did a lot of the minor league ballparks I went to. Some of the teams I worked for down there, they did the shows. Always the finest. I asked if they one time if they would let me watch how they do it, and they said no, because it's a safety issue.
Oh.
And I gained more respect for them after I pouted. I was poutier after that, but
thought your status as a broadcaster would get you front row seats.
I would have probably blown my hand off if I got back behind there. Hey, what's this one do? Oh, they were smart.
And that would be good that I could get a front row seat and then call off. Here comes the heart-shaped one.
Oh, yes. They put the gunpowder in. Right? Something like, I don't know what they do.
The fuse has been lit.
Maybe I have an idea here. I wonder if maybe Mark Garter will have me stay after the game on Saturday and announce the fireworks.
I know this. Anytime I've watched fireworks, I'm amazed, and I wonder how do they pack these things to make them do what they do. And they get better and better every year.
That's outside 2-1. Now, as soon as they can figure out how to do it after a day game, that's when I'll be really impressed.
Yeah.
Goes at second with 1 out. 2-1. Kinsler able to lay off 3-1.
Pretty close pitch. Tried to get that inside corner. Did not get the swing. Just missed a bit in. And now good count for Kinsler with Upton on deck. There was a breaking ball that backed up on him, and again, it's interesting. It's a lot like what we saw with Justin Verlander yesterday, and we saw that Verlander threw a lot of breaking balls that ended up on the inside corner and up. That's not typically what pitchers are trying to do. Where they're usually trying to throw breaking balls is down and away from a right-handed hitter, not up and in.
Yeah, Verlander doing that with his curveball yesterday. Still full on Kinsler. So Nicasio already at 50 pitches here with 1 out in the second inning. Another 3-2. That's the third walk drawn by the Tigers today.
He's just unable to get that extension to get that ball down and away from the right-handed hitter.
Good test today. I mean, really the first time that Nicasio has had really any difficulty at all. And thought he recovered nicely in that first inning. Now he's worked himself into a jam here again in the second.
Yeah, good. First Ray Searage has seen of Nicasio struggling in a Pirate uniform. And I would guess as a pitcher, I know hitters go through issues and slumps, and at times the swing doesn't feel right. You're pulling off the ball and you can't stop yourself from doing it. You work on it on the side and take batting practice, and it still just doesn't feel quite right. I have to assume it's the same for a pitcher that, for whatever reason, just flying off the ball just a little bit, that keeps you from getting extended, keeps you from releasing that ball out front like you want.
Upton, who homered very deep to center his last time. And Nicasio had said coming into spring training that he disliked throwing the slider to right-handed batters prior to this year. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you survive as primarily a two-pitch pitcher if you eliminate one of the pitches to most of the hitters you face?
Yeah, that's strange.
Runners on the move, and Cervelli guns down Ghost for the second out.
Boy, there is only one throw that's going to be able to throw out Ghost on this jump. He got a pretty good jump. You saw he was walking off. Look where the throw is. I mean, it is right there, right where Gose puts his hand. Freese doesn't have to move it. Perfect throw. And
that is the definition of perfect.
Yes, and that's a big, big out. Sometimes the defense or your catcher has to help you out when you're struggling on the mound.
No stolen base for Kinsler. He's at second. Dismissed on the 0-2. That's tough with a righty batter up too.
Well, actually, the pitch made it an easier throw for Cervelli because he was set up inside. It came up and in, so Cervelli could just a perfect angle behind Upton. You know, if it's down and away, you have the batter in your way. But because it was behind Upton, it made it a little easier.
A little help from my friends.
There you go. Look at that. The throw. Freese doesn't even have to tag. He just has to catch.
Two to Justin Upton.
And there's some better velocity. Last couple of pitches, 96, 97 miles per hour in the finish. You're able to get that ball down and away from the right-handed batter. He hasn't been down there often these first couple of innings.
Two balls, two strikes, two outs. 2-0 Detroit. Nicasio delivers.
Boy, they're just not biting. That's a good slider again. He thought he'd get a chase here. Watch, it looks like it's a strike. Looks like it's a strike, and then it just dips down and out of the zone. Good patience. Good recognition from Upton. Picked up the spin.
Is this a day where Nicasio is going to have to go to the changeup a little bit, maybe, to
I don't know
get some soft contact?
I don't know how comfortable he is throwing it to righties, but
only 3 lefties.
Yeah, just a few lefties in there.
Harrison knocks it down, and here comes Kinsler to the plate. He'll score, and that wild throw allows Upton to get in to second base. And they're going to award him third because that got into the seats.
Well, you know, Jay Hay's going to do all he can to make plays, and finally got some soft contact here. And Jay Hay dives for it. Doesn't come up with a clean, and you got to give some credit to Ian Kinsler. Going hard all the way around third. Jay Hay airmailing.
He threw without sight of the runner, but you'd think that maybe Kinsler would have hesitated. He did not, and that's probably what Harrison was thinking. He still might have had a shot at home plate. So 2-base throwing error, single and a run batted in for Upton. And Cabrera takes a strike. That's a big turn in this game. You know, 2 runs through 2 innings, no big deal. Down 3 now, and Nicasio is going to throw his 60th pitch coming up here.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. You start thinking about the pitch count. You make that play, you're in the dugout, but Nicasio has to continue to work.
So he's had a couple of 30-pitch innings already. Both teams will pack up and head to Pittsburgh for a game tomorrow night as this series continues, home and home. And Cabrera finds the hole, and the Tigers get another run.
And it almost looks like he tries to do that. You know, this is a guy that drives in 100+ runs. He can hit 40+ homers, but he can handle the bat with the best of them. He can control the head of the bat maybe better than anybody in baseball. And who knows? Maybe he surveyed the infield, saw that Jay Hay was playing him up the middle, looked away to try to hit a ball on the ground to the right side. It's almost what it looked like. It's not easy to do. Not many could do it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
And Miguel Cabrera not only leads in home runs a lot, but he's won the batting average championship 4 times, including this past year, in the midst of an injury-plagued season. And you can make an argument the best right-handed hitter of all time. Certainly in that conversation.
Sure is. That's impressive stuff.
The mound chat concludes, and Victor Martinez, who walked, is coming up. Now the Tigers returning the favor as the Pirates just grinded it out against Verlander yesterday. Laid off stuff out of the zone. And Martinez with a base hit. Cabrera is going to try for third, and he'll get in. And 4 straight men have reached against Nicasio.
Goes out and yanks this ball. That's off the end of the bat. And again, a little bit up with the pitch. You never know if it's down around the knees. Maybe he rolls over and hits a soft grounder to the right side, but with the ball elevated, Martinez able to soft serve it into right.
So after that ground ball in the infield, a couple of more base hits. The challenge today for Nicasio, who needed 84 pitches to get through 6 innings against the Cardinals on Wednesday. He'll be 20 away from that total after this one. We're still in the 2nd inning. Now, almost got out of it unscathed.
Yeah, that was you thought that was a turning point with Ghost getting thrown out trying to steal.
Blanco gives it a look. They'll go a couple rows back.
The strange thing about this game, a couple of inches. It's hard to tell on that up and ground ball. It almost looked like maybe Jay Hay, when he dove, maybe from here, looked like maybe he overdove a bit, like it handcuffed him. He wasn't all the way extended. If that gets in his glove, the inning's over. Obviously a good effort, but a matter of inches from ending the inning. And they continue to not chase that Nicasio slider, and it's a pitch we've been watching most hitters flail at with very little success.
2 on, 2 out. 2-2. Now full again. And Nicasio starting to get upset. He's thrown 37 pitches here in the 2nd. And he's starting to get to the point when they get around 40 or so in an inning that a lot of managers start to think, okay, you know, you can possibly hurt a pitcher if they go much farther than that.
And then when you're talking about back-to-back, the amount of work is for a guy that didn't start last year. I mean, it's a lot of work over the course of 2 innings here.
3-2, and he struck him out, finally getting a chase. And J.D. Martinez down on strikes. Tigers get 2 more. 4-0 Detroit. Super Mo brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Telling the tale so far, just out of the reach of Josh Harrison. Might have gotten out of that inning. Instead, the Tigers put together some more hits and make it 4-0. Jordy Mercer batting for the first time. Juan Nicasio, 68 pitches through the first 2 innings.
A lot of time left in this ball game, and you mentioned the first couple of innings with the Pirates at the plate. Sanchez hasn't had the best command either.
Sure.
He's gotten away with some pitches.
I mean, Sanchez needed 29 pitches to go through that second inning himself. So this is what I really like about what the Pirates have done so far with this offense, because they have the same approach every inning. Jordy Mercer lines a base hit to left. That starts the Pirates' third. First time the leadoff man's gotten on, but seems very consistent.
Yeah. Missing with location again. Sanchez, he wanted it down and away. It rode back in and up to Jordy.
You just don't feel with the Pirates that, okay, we've got to get a couple of men on so we can hit the home run and try to get back into it. No, just maybe they'll get one this inning, maybe another a little bit later, and then all of a sudden we're looking at a tie ball game in the later frames, or maybe a lead.
It's just that, you know, you just keep grinding. Your at bats remain the same. I think the great hitters that win batting titles, they don't give away at bats. They don't. The score doesn't matter to them. Obviously, there's situations to where, you know, you might have to hit a ball to the right side to advance a runner, get a runner home. But, you know, typically, whether it's 10-0 or 1-0, you know, the approach stays consistent. You're still looking for a pitch to hit and taking until you get it.
And you might get that pitch, the first pitch, too. That's why I think it's so interesting too when people talk about, well, if you take a lot of pitches, that's a good thing. Well, not necessarily, right? I mean, if you
don't go up there taking just to take,
right?
And unless the situation dictates it. You say you get for instance here with the struggles of your starting pitcher Juan Nicasio, your leadoff batter should probably take a strike just to maybe see a handful of pitches. The last thing you want is a quick inning here and then have your pitcher run right back out there after he's thrown almost 70 pitches in 2 innings. You let him sit down and relax a little bit. There are situations where you do have to take pitches, or at least you should. But in most circumstances, you're just up there taking your normal at bat.
A little counseling from Ray Searage. Now Nicasio's been battered, some body blows, but hanging in there. There goes Mercer. That's ball 4. So the Pirates responding by putting the first 2 men on here in the 3rd.
And Andrew McCutchen, another opportunity here with runners on. And and again, it's just the 3rd inning. You don't need a home run. You don't have to be thinking home run. You just think about keeping the line moving.
And Jeff Branson helping preach that approach. Pirates hitting coach. Name of the game is to avoid outs. There's no time, but every team gets 27 outs.
And Andrew looking for his first hit with runners in scoring position. He has had his opportunities despite batting second. He's been to the plate now 11. This will be his 12th time with a runner on second and or third.
Was it five walks? I think
5 walks. Yeah.
So I think that really speaks to the approach, right? I mean, he's not going to expand the zone just to try to drive in runs. It's
just
this one.
Missed it.
High to center. Well, this is a big ballpark, isn't it? That will move up Mercer to 3rd, though.
Now, Andrew has to be frustrated. Now, on Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati, he hit 2 balls a mile high to left, just missed. Yesterday, he hit 2 a mile high, one to left center. I mean, it's just a tiny bit from maybe 4 or 5 homers, because that ball was crushed, but just a tad under it.
You see him hop right out of yeah. Oh, I thought the same thing. I'm like, this looks good. Oh, big ballpark. Oh, just got underneath. Now David Freese with a 1-out chance.
It has to be tough to be Andrew McCutchen and hit with runners in scoring position, because of, like I said, the amount of walks. Teams don't want to make the mistakes to Andrew McCutchen. They don't want him, to be the difference. That's the guy they want to avoid.
And he got a fastball almost middle.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm sure, that added to his frustration. Just missed it.
And even, when he just misses it, it still goes 400 feet.
That's a home run in a lot of ballparks.
Yeah.
Now 2-1, and Sanchez has been behind a lot of hitters today too. He's thrown 25 balls and 31 strikes. Can't wait for baseball weather, huh? Pitching will be a little crisper. This might get the Tigers out of the inning. It will. Still 4-0 Detroit. And we'd like to welcome Venus telephone viewers in the Venus-Freiburg area. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. Men are from Mars on our UPMC scoreboard. 4-0 Detroit. And Castellanos, after David Freese bounced into a double play to end that threat, keeping it decent pitch count for Sanchez in the inning. 16 thrown. Cisco Cervelli last inning getting an out on the bases for Nicasio. And now ahead 0-2.
Taking a little off, it seems like the breaking ball. We saw the swing and miss by Martinez to end the second. A little softer. And again, that last breaking ball to Castellanos, just 82.
Do you think he's trying to throw strikes with the slider now and try to, you know what I mean, instead of trying to get him to chase, since they're not?
It's hard to say. You know, that would be helpful if you can flip it in there for a strike. Chances are, especially early in the count, hitters won't chase, you know, first pitch breaking ball. They'll just take it, live for another pitch. But I want to say that the 0-1 slider he threw in this at bat may have been the first one. There hasn't been many he's thrown for strikes. But for the majority of the time, I think he tries, you know, especially when he's ahead, he's trying to get the guys to chase it out of the zone.
Like right there, but Castellanos held up. Yeah, the Tigers did their homework on Nicasio. And part of the cat and mouse game, right? I mean, you know, the major league hitters, they're going to adjust and try to take away Nicasio's strengths. And he strikes out Castellanos. Got a foul tip for the second time.
Yeah, got away with the, you know, one he didn't want to, I don't believe. He didn't want to leave it up there above the letters. But got the chase anyhow.
Jared Saltalamacchia, also a strikeout victim his last time. Right in there for a strike. And now, you know, first pitch slider right over. Okay.
And that was a little more firm at 87. He did throw an inning against the Tigers in spring training. I was just wondering, you know, most of these guys haven't faced him. It was just a relief outing. He only threw one inning against Detroit.
It used to be before the advent of all this video that we can get now, and how they can break it down to certain types of hitters and at bats and certain pitches and counts and everything. That it was the, you know, it was just a scout, you know, go into the game and say, all right, you know, I saw his last start, he was kind of like this, he was kind of like that, which helps, but it's vague. And now you can really see, in conjunction with the scout, now so many more things.
Well, yeah, it helps with video to know what a guy has, and you see velocity, perhaps see the sequence, you know, what he throws in certain counts. But, you know, as a hitter, I think until you're in the batter's box and see it, I think it does help to see video, to have an idea what he has. But until you're in the batter's box and see the movement or the break, as the pitch just missing perhaps away, Nicasio wanted it. Unfortunately, the strike zone we haven't had up here recently. Couldn't show you that 2-2 pitch. Hopefully it'll be back in order soon.
Yeah, it shows on pitch effects that it would have been probably just away. It would have been very borderline, but very close to being a strike. Take my word for it, folks. So now Anthony Gose. So 4 walks for Nicasio today, and a lot of those he was ahead early as he was up 0-2 on Saltalamacchia. So if you start off with a couple of sliders to get ahead, then what do you use to finish it off if you're a 2-pitch pitcher?
Well, he has the stuff to finish anybody off. It's just he doesn't have control of it today. I mean, he's up there, he's trying, and whether or not he's thinking mechanically or what. Obviously the 2-2 fastball was pretty close to being strike 3. He got a borderline pitch against Saltalamacchia back in the first to end that inning, but didn't get it here in the third. But pretty much just sinker slider, and it's been good enough, those 2 pitches, to finish off a bunch of hitters in spring training. And didn't get that call, and more probably because of where Cervelli set up than the location. As Cervelli set up away, he missed with an in, but it looked like it was over the plate on the inner half of the plate. He didn't get the call.
3-0. Iglesias is next. And the 5th walk. This has been a challenge for Nicasio today. And he's visibly frustrated too, and understandably so. And now there's going to be some activity beginning in the Pirates bullpen.
Sure, frustrating. To this point, he was able to execute and pretty much throw the ball where he wanted to.
I mean, he's thrown more pitches today than he did in his last start, and he went 6 innings.
And he did pitch in some minor league games in spring training, but in the major league games, he worked a total of 15 innings, and his walk total in those 15 innings was 5, and that's where he is at so far this afternoon.
So Kyle Lobstein just beginning to loosen. Iglesias lined out his first trip. One pitch. As much as it's been difficult for him today, one ground ball here, and still very much a gettable ball game, down 4 in the 3rd inning.
Sure. Iglesias didn't like that one. Let's see if he can throw that slider down and away. After 3 straight fastballs in, you'd think that Iglesias might be protecting in there.
Slowly hit, it'll be tough to get 2, so they'll elect to get Iglesias. Runners move up. Saltalamacchia to 3rd. Ghost now in at second. And Kinsler coming up.
Well, not hit all that hard. Mercer knew he was only going to get one, so throws it across, and Iglesias made it look close.
You need a real direct, tailor-made ball to get him for two. Kinsler has popped out and walked. 2 in scoring position with 2 out. 4-0 Detroit. We're in the third.
Foul tip gets Cervelli in the mask. I guess if it hits the mask up above where the helmet is, probably don't feel it as much.
Looks like Cervelli's got a good deal of padding. Some of the catchers have elected to use some of those masks that don't have as much padding. They're lighter, but his is a really well padded mask. I'd like to go take a look at it and see. But,
those things are so lightweight. It's pretty impressive. As lightweight as they are, how well they protect.
Yes.
Kind of a lot of times unfazed. The catchers don't feel a thing.
And a lot of ex-catchers will tell you too. I don't know if this is a fact or not, but they like that style mask because it moves a little bit on a foul tip, whereas that hockey style mask is affixed to your head and you might absorb more of a blow. I don't know if that's fact or fiction, but at least some of the ex-catchers I've talked to said they feel better with that. Current catchers the same. Big pitch coming from Nicasio with 2 men on. 2-2. And a guy who saw a lot of time behind the plate, Brad Ausmus, Tiger manager. Very good catcher for a number of years.
Really have a talk with Nicasio. It could be about pitch selection. It also could be about changing the signs as the runner at second base. Ghost maybe. Cervelli feels he may have picked up the signs, so look to switch it up. Although didn't get a visit from either one of his middle infielders. Usually when the middle infielders come in, if they change the sequence.
Two on in scoring position with 2 outs. 2-2. And McCutcheon with plenty of room. And Nicasio gets out of it. 2 men are left. 4th inning coming up. Still 4-0 Detroit.
4-0 as we hit the top of the 4th inning on Twitter Tuesday. John Jaso was our guest, and he was asked by Patricia Davies, my 10-year-old wants to know why Jaso prefers that batting stance over a more traditional one.
I got to Oakland, and Chili Davis was our hitting coach there, and he kind of got me to hybrid the two a little bit and kind of come up with this like funky thing that I have now. He didn't really draw it up like that, but he just kind of planted this like idea to kind of put the two together, and that's the kind of goofy thing you see now, I guess.
So, Joe, when he's talking about a hybrid of the two, he had a traditional stand-up stance, if you will, and then for a while his legs were bothering him from catching all those years, so he went to a little bit of a wider stance, and that's where Chili Davis got him in Oakland, and he was able to combine the two, and to use the word that John Jaso used, funky, to describe the stance he uses right now. But, you know, back in spring training, he used quite a few different stances, so don't be surprised for all those Bucco fans out there to see maybe something else between now and the end of the season.
Always tinkering, and it just matters, I guess, you know, if you're in the right spot at the right time when the pitch comes in, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, not a whole lot you can do about it.
But Chili Davis, big power hitter in his career, hitting coach, a couple of teams now.
It's I mean, we've talked about it before as far as the stance, and it really doesn't matter where you start from. It's about getting in a position to hit early enough.
One, two, and Cabrera won't go after it.
I thought almost yesterday it almost looked like that right leg was even further back behind his left. But you see, once he gets that foot down, I mean, the foot's down early enough, the hands are back early enough to where you're geared up and you want to get ready for the fastball, but yet be in a good enough position to adjust to anything off speed. And,
he likes that open stance. He says it helps him, you know, kind of see the ball better and get that weight on his back foot.
The idea is to get there and be there consistently enough to where that front foot gets down early enough and consistently enough. And you know, he does gauge it, and he does start that right foot towards home plate as the pitcher brings the glove out of the ball, or the ball out of the glove. And you know, though some pitchers might get it out a little quicker than others, but you know, that's the one way that you can kind of stay consistent with when you're starting towards the plate.
Marte strikes out to start the 4th.
You know, regardless if a pitcher's in a windup or in a stretch, if he's in a stretch and he's going to, you know, slide step or come with a regular higher leg kick, the one thing that does stay consistent is when the ball comes out of the glove. As it looks like Sanchez pulled the string on Marte. Perhaps a changeup with the late movement running down and in towards Starling.
Nicasio with the jacket off. Might be complete after throwing 94 pitches today. Lobstein, meanwhile, continues to loosen in the Pirates' pen. Now even on Cervelli. There's Lobstein, who was pitching for the Tigers last year.
And Sanchez, he gets ahead of Cervelli here, but a couple more pitches that have been left in the middle of the plate and up.
And a couple of strikeouts for Sanchez here in this 4th inning.
And that looked like a little cutter. Hey, W.B. Mason strike zone's back, and as you see there, that pitch looked like it started off the plate inside. You see Francisco raise his hands. He thought it was going to be in, and then the late cut catches the inside corner.
First 2 strikeouts for Sanchez today. And there's your major league leader in walks. Drew on his first time around. Let's see, the Phillies this year have 12 walks and Polanco has 10.
Wow. Yeah.
How's that for some better patience?
Yeah, I think it helps, you know, when you're comfortable at the plate. Gregory had, you know, a reputation when he came to the big leagues as being a patient hitter that didn't chase a lot of pitches, would draw his fair share of walks. We didn't see it a whole bunch his first year and a half with the Buccos, but you know, I know he's made some adjustments. He's worked hard with Jeff Branson, and he's in a good place mechanically, although retired here in the 4th.
Still 4-0 Detroit.
It's time for the Toyota RAV 4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 4th inning here from Detroit. Trying to bundle the little ones up today. 43 at game time here at Comerica Park. The faithful still making their way down. Look, that guy's got a couple autographs. And the Pirates have to turn to a new pitcher, Kyle Lobstein.
Just his 3rd appearance, 1-0, 4.50 ERA and 4 innings of work. Trying to keep this a 4-run ball game.
Might be the difference between the Pirates, what they did against Verlander yesterday, and Nicasio just holding serve, because you know, Verlander giving up 7 runs and 4+ yesterday. Game kind of got out of hand, and even with the Tigers comeback try, they couldn't crawl back in. But 4 runs down in the 4th, you can feel like it's still a game.
Sure. Still a lot of outs the Tigers have to get. So again, I don't think Sanchez is on the top of his game. I mean, he has some movement and everything else like that, but he has left some pitches over the heart of the plate. But it's one thing you have to do, I think, to be able to come back and win this thing is to hold the Tigers where they are.
Nicasio went 3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. Nice play by Mercer. And not in time. Upton still runs decent. Still a young guy, even though he's been in the league since he was a teenager.
Well, that's a heck of an effort by Jordy Mercer. You know, the one hopper, dives and tries to make the strong throw. Hard to throw from that deep and short from a knee. Jordy with the strong throwing arm does whatever he can to try to get Upton, but the 2 hopper a step late.
Now Cabrera. This should be 2. There's 1, and plenty of time for a double play. First turn by the Pirates today. Kyle Lobstein began his career with the Tigers a couple of years ago, before he needed the specs, and a starting pitcher by trade. Which is a pretty good ball game against the Twins that day. Also saw Mr. Lobstein with Detroit last year. And he's got 2 outs, facing another former teammate, Victor Martinez. Lobstein was sold to the Tigers, or to the Pirates, I should say, in the offseason. His contract. And so that has to be a little bit of a challenge for him after being so close with a lot of these guys. But he has liked being with the Pirates and making the team out of spring training. Working out of the bullpen, which is a little different after being a starter for most of his career. Right now out of the pen.
It's, I think it's interesting when you have a guy like Lobstein doesn't throw very hard. I mean, you won't see him. He'll top out maybe at 90, but mostly in the mid-upper 80s.
And these days, a 92 is about average, so he's a below average fastball.
Yeah, and so, he comes into a new organization. A lot of the guys, some of the guys might not know a whole lot about him, and then they see that, boy, he's only throwing 85, 86, 87, 88. And so I don't know if you're a flamethrower and you come from one organization to the other. Eyes are wide. And think, wow, how do we get this guy? But Kyle obviously knows how to pitch, knows how to change speeds, locates, keeps the ball out of the middle of the plate, not afraid to throw into right-handed batters, and that's we've seen that often. Despite 86, 87, 88, he likes to pitch in there. And Cervelli setting up in there here.
Still full on Victor Martinez. I was talking with Lobstein the other day about that velocity, and for our younger audience out there, first of all, why aren't you in school? But I guess you could be out of school now. It's 3 o'clock. Yeah, but he was talking about how when he was coming up through high school, he was not a very hard thrower, maybe a tick harder than he is now actually. But he never felt the pressure to throw harder, and you can hurt your arm that way if you're really gutting out every pitch. And I said, can I pass along that to the younger audience? He said, absolutely. He said, do your best out there, but be a pitcher. Don't just try to come up with that number and get drafted that way. He was drafted and made the big leagues. He's fine.
There was a number of successful major league pitchers without, above average fastballs. And A lot of it has to do with deception, with mostly location, and having the ability to add and subtract and make the ball move, keep it down.
The guy that he talked about in our conversation the other day was Jamie Moyer.
Yeah, Moyer maybe. Well, it was remarkable what Jamie Moyer did and how long he could do it.
Jamie Moyer, who really didn't stick around the major leagues for good until he was about 30, but he pitched at age 49 and won a couple of ball games at age 49 in the big leagues. 49.
That's amazing.
And now, you know, at that time, what's he throwing? Maybe 82 with a fastball.
At the low 80s fastball.
Yeah. But he was, I mean, he was still very effective at age 45. Won 16 ball games for the Phillies that year. But even earlier in his career, and Lobstein's a young guy, he's just still trying to cut his teeth. But, you know, even earlier in his career, you know, Moyer was not a hard thrower, a left-hander, and was relying on, you know, getting outs that way. And
yeah. That's
there's a base hit for J.D. Martinez.
One of the few pitches we've seen Kyle throw over the middle of the plate.
So being helped by the double play ball here in this inning, with 3 of the 4 Tigers reaching. And Nick Castellanos glad to see Nicasio gone. He struck out twice against him. The Tigers have had multiple base runners on at once in every inning today. And again, I mean, you just, you know, keep holding them off and get some things going. The Pirates have been able to work Sanchez in a couple of innings. Swing and a miss there.
You wonder how well they picked the ball up from Kyle Lobstein, and we've seen a couple of wild swings. It pitches out of the strike zone. One there, obviously.
Lobstein grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona. Very pretty area. Why not go right back with it? 3 strikeouts today for Castellanos. Through 4-0 Detroit.
Detroit. Well, some good news lies ahead for a famous landmark just a mile away from Comerica Park right here. The Detroit Police Athletic League will break ground on its new headquarters at the site of the old Tigers Stadium tomorrow. That's what it looks like right now. Beautiful shot from the blimp. And that flagpole you see in center field in fair territory is the flagpole that stood at the old Tiger Stadium. Now, the hope is that they move in about a year from now in the spring of 2017. It's a Detroit Police Athletic League. It's going to be their headquarters. They raised over $13 million for the project, which will include the replacing of the grass field with turf. But this presents a chance for thousands of kids to play ball at one of the most famous spaces in America. Now, Tiger Stadium was home of the Tigers from 1912 until 2000. It was known as a few different places, Navin Field and Briggs Stadium, and then 61 is when the name of the facility was officially changed to Tiger Stadium. And Joe, I know you have a deep history growing up in this area and a great connection with that ballpark.
Yeah, Robbie, thanks for doing that story today, too, and great pictures. I didn't have a chance to see that area in our brief stay here in Detroit, and having, for me, going to my first ball games and really falling in love with the sport on those very grounds, it's deeply personal to me to see that is going to stick around, because, you know, we in Pittsburgh have had that with Forbes Field. There's a little piece of Forbes Field still around. We can still touch the very same wall, and some of that wall is actually at PNC Park as well by the Mazeroski statue. So for people in Detroit, I know it's going to mean a lot to them to be able to carry on the tradition of so many great baseball memories at the old ballpark, the old corner at Michigan and Trumbull.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool place. I got to go there once with the Marlins. How far did you live from here?
Growing up about 20 minutes from here.
Nice. Yeah. Get to a lot of games in?
Usually about one a year we'd get down to. When I got to be able to drive myself, then, you know, 20.
Yeah, that was a cool looking place.
Now, you never got to play because, right, interleague play. Did you ever get to? Were you with the Marlins in '97?
Yes.
I must have saw you play then in '97, because I remember.
You might have seen the Marlins play.
Oh, okay. I remember I was at the first interleague game. It was the Tigers and the Marlins.
Yeah, I was.
So you were in uniform that day?
I was, yes, I was there. I didn't play, but I was there. I didn't play in many American League ballparks. No use for pinch hitters or, well, yeah, I don't. I've been to I don't know how many American League ballparks. I don't recall how many I've played in, but I don't think I got in a bat or got into the field at Tiger Stadium.
Glad you got to see it, though.
Yeah, really cool. Got to take batting practice. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that Detroiters will have that same luxury. I just wish they kept the turf off the field, though. Those guys have been maintaining that field all that time. Yeah, Harrison nearly beating that one out to start the fifth. And, you know, another nice moment today, Al Kaline, Mr. Tiger, if he was the Clemente of the American League during the 50s and 60s and early 70s, and he was the hero of Clint Hurdle growing up. Clint Hurdle, born in Michigan in Big Rapids, and always had a great admiration for Al Kaline, the great number 6, great right fielder. And once Al Kaline came into the Pirates clubhouse today, Clint Hurdle, you know, he's always buzzing around. He's doing a bunch of things, getting ready for the game, and then he just became a 6-year-old kid again.
Yeah.
There's a statue of Al Kaline and catching that ball over the right field wall in Tiger Stadium.
Got it.
How about the pitcher stepping up, huh?
That's a good play. You don't always see that. Some pitchers just direct traffic and don't seem to want any part of pop-ups. Now that one was up there quite some time. Normally the catcher would take that. Saltalamacchia didn't see it. Cabrera, you see, didn't have much urgency to get in there and make a play either.
I don't write P1 in my book very often.
It would have been an embarrassing moment if the ball would have landed, because it was in fair territory.
Now, who's to say pitchers can't field their position?
Yeah.
That's another way to field your position, not just comebackers and such. Castellanos. And Sanchez starting to settle in now. He's retired 8 in a row. Still 4-0 Tigers.
Tigers lead the Pittsburgh Pirates. We hit the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, Kyle Lobstein spent 3 years in the Tigers organization and also spent his offseason getting married. Now, this series against Detroit gives him the chance to catch up with most of his groomsmen. Kyle and Samantha Lobstein were married this past January, and in their party were catchers Jay McCann, along with relievers Blaine Hardy and also Kyle Ryan. Now, that's a photo. McCann on the left, Hardy on the right, Lobstein in the middle. So it's pretty cool time for these guys. He had a chance to talk last night. Unfortunately, McCann was injured and subsequently placed on the disabled list this morning. But get this, Buck Farmer, another Tigers pitcher, Joe, he was married on the same day and obviously couldn't attend one another's wedding. Kyle and Buck couldn't. But after the game, obviously all those guys were able to hang out, talk a little bit, and catch up. And we have another photo with Kyle Ryan added to the mix with everyone and their wives, Kyle and Samantha, the former Samantha Spence. Lovely people, and great time and some great memories those guys had. They were roommates at one point in time back in the minor leagues in the Detroit system, McCann and Lobstein, and then Lobstein and Hardy separately. So really cool. Baseball, as you know, is a small fraternity, but to have these guys connect so quickly in just a matter of a couple of years and be in each other's weddings is a pretty special thing.
Robbie, my only question is that, you know, if Buck Farmer's getting married on the same day, why don't, you know, they're baseball players. Why don't they just have a doubleheader?
That's all. Why not?
It's the same thing, you know, right? And, all right, married at 4, you're married at 7. You know, empty out the seats. You know, have a day-night split wedding.
Sounds simple.
No one ever asked me. And quickly, 2 outs for Lobstein here in the 5th. And I know he would probably have liked to face James McCann today, and go figure, he goes on the disabled list today for the first time in his career. Did you ever face a pitcher that you knew personally from maybe coming up or anything like that?
Sure.
Who was somebody that you maybe gave a wink to? Or
you know, you don't think of it. You really don't. I mean, you're aware of it, but you don't concern yourself with it too much. I mean, probably happened a lot more in the minor leagues than it did in the big leagues, but it happened a number of times.
Yeah, hitting's hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. You might think about it before and after, but not during.
Iglesias to Hopper for Mercer. And the Pirates register their first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. 6th on its way, still 4-0.
Week on Root Sports. See the Pens open their first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs tomorrow as they host the New York Rangers in Game 1. Coverage starts at 7 with a special 1-hour pregame presented by Heritage Valley Health System. And good luck to Mario Lemieux, who's here today. Great to see him. And good luck to the Pens. Bring home another Stanley Cup. First one over for a strike to Matt Joyce. In the leadoff role today against his former club. He also started his career with the Tigers for 1 year. Meanwhile, Sanchez has retired 8 in a row. Joyce walked his last time, the last man to reach after a wobbly start for Sanchez.
Not happy with that call there. Gabe Morales hearing it from the dugout, and Matt Joyce. TMC's strike zone has it. Bottom of the knees, outside edge.
A couple of former Tigers now making their way with the Pirates. Now full on Matt Joyce. Now the Pirates with Andrew McCutchen out on deck. He'll bat with the bases empty after Joyce strikes out.
Command starting, not starting, but continues to sharpen the deeper this game goes. And that's a little cut fastball. You see the ball staying down in the zone a little bit better for Sanchez. A lot of pitches up around the belt and higher early on.
McCutchen narrowly missed a home run his last time. This big ballpark isn't very forgiving. Well, just like at PNC, you know, a right-handed hitter, you hit it out to left center. I mean, that's a no man's land.
Yeah, but if Andrew McCutchen hits it just right, it doesn't matter what ballpark he's in. For a guy that's not very big. Hits the ball a long way to all fields. Impressive.
And he generates so much power. And he's not a, not a big giant guy by any means, but yet can still really drive the ball.
Bat speed
with any of it. Curveball at 67 miles an hour. And Sanchez has registered 4 strikeouts. And here's our day automotive. This day in Pirates history. You got to go back to 1927 when the Bucks beat the Reds 2-1. Little Poison, Lloyd Wainer, making his major league debut, batting second, playing in left field, and singled in his first at bat for his first career hit. And he scored the game-winning run when his brother Paul, of course, Big Poison, singled him home. And I talk about, McCutchen, who's 5'10", and he's not a big guy. How about Big Poison and Little Poison? Lloyd and Paul Wainer. Lloyd Wainer was 5'5"? 5'9", I guess. Okay, 150 pounds.
Wow.
Paul Wainer, of course, Big Poison, was 153 pounds.
I had no idea. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He's older, so that's why he's big boys. Both in the Hall of Fame. Castellanos. And it draws Cabrera off the bag, and Freese will be aboard.
Boy, that was quite the effort by Castellanos. A heck of a stop.
I think his toe was in front of the bag and his heel came off. Yep.
Umpire in a good position to see that.
So Marte with a 2-out opportunity.
They actually roll that an error.
I gave him a base hit. Is what I see here.
Oh, I was going to say. There it is on the scoreboard. They just put it up.
That gets away from Saltalamacchia. Now man in scoring position. See if the Pirates can steal one here, get on the board and inch a little closer. Sanchez hit 100 pitches now.
And Marte only one swing that drove in runs this year, but it was a big one. The grand slam in Cincy, accounting for all 4 of his RBIs.
Yeah, it took the Pirates from down 3 with 4 outs to go. And they had nobody on, and all the bases got loaded with 2 outs. So, I mean, even down 3 with 4 outs to go, the Pirates still won that game. Down 4 here in the 6th. Marte hits this one deep to left field. Upton back, looking up, and there it goes. A home run for Marte. A 2-run shot, and Starling Marte's second of the year puts the Pirates right back in this one.
Boy, that's a big blow right there. Sanchez was just cruising along until that play on the freeze ground ball. Castellanos couldn't get off a good enough throw. Cabrera couldn't stay on the bag. It keeps the inning alive. And one swing of the bat by Marte makes it a very close game all of a sudden. A bloop and a blast away now after this. And we talked about Sanchez leaving pitches up middle of the plate, 90 miles an hour up middle of the plate. I had a feeling at some point in time somebody would take advantage, and it's Marte.
Fastball right down the middle. 3rd home run of the year for the Pirates, who are dealing with quality and not as much quantity today as we've seen in most games this year. And now Cervelli. And that kind of evens out that play earlier today. Josh Harrison on that ground ball. Remember, he had that ground ball back in the 2nd inning that just got out of his reach. Yeah. Inning continues as the Tigers keep getting a couple more hits. They got 2 runs that inning when they thought maybe they could have gotten a 3rd out. And now I guess it all equals out.
We talked about it then in the 2nd. You know, the game of inches. If that ball was fielded cleanly, that would have ended the inning, so they wouldn't have scored. It would have been a 2-run game. Cabrera unable to stay on first base by a couple of inches.
Castellanos with an errant throw, and now 3-1 on Cervelli, with Sanchez starting to fatigue a little bit. 106 pitches, and the former Pirate Justin Wilson starting to loosen up. Marte bringing a little bit of life back into the offense. Cervelli works the walk. 3 straight men have reached with 2 outs. Only one opposing starting pitcher has even completed 6 innings this year. And just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Brad Ausmus coming out. So we'll still only see one pitcher go, starting pitcher go 6 innings against the Pirates this season. And Aníbal Sanchez done with the Pirates now trailing 4-2. Bringing the lumber, brought to you by Yellowwood and Starling Marte with home run number 2. 2-run shot has put the Pirates right back in this one. 4-2 now. On just the 4th hit of the day, but Sanchez done here with 2 outs in the 6th. I see a familiar face.
Justin Wilson, the former Pirate, went to the Yankees, now a Detroit Tiger, his 4th appearance. Just 3 innings, 5 punch-outs.
Traded by the Yankees last December. He's been one of their setup guys. Polanco today has walked in flat out. Wilson drafted by the Pirates and pitched 3 seasons with the Buccos, 12, 13, 14. One-0 and a strike.
Wilson, it's always like the fastball. A couple here at 95 miles per hour to Gregory.
That's outside 2-1. And Polanco has come up 4 times against a lefty this year. He's got a sac fly, 2 walks, and has made 1 out.
Boy, look at that. That's well in the strike zone, but where the catcher Saltalamacchia is set up and where he caught it, that's why it was called a ball.
Even Frank Drebin wouldn't call that a ball. Naked Gun reference. On to first for the out, but the Pirates get a couple on the home run by Marte. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th, 4-2.
the all-new Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. Check out barreltires.com and never overpay for tires again. Let's go Bucks!
On our UPMC scoreboard, Detroit now their lead cut in half, 4-2. Chilly day here in Detroit. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s. Good day for some seats. I would elect to have the barbecue keeping me a little warmer, but Starling Marte likes the regular. Kyle Lobstein has dealt a couple of scoreless innings in relief of Juan Nicasio. And Kinsler aboard. His first hit today.
Good approach. Pitch away. I have to assume Kinsler was looking for it out there. With that approach, look for a ball away and hit it to the opposite field.
Justin Upton has not been retired today. 3 for 3. And a pair of hits to start the Tigers' 6th inning. Well, we've seen a lot of it this afternoon, but we've seen the Pirates also limit damage and keep this very much a ball game.
Yeah, and another good approach going the other way. Upton now 2 on, nobody out. Nobody up in the Pirates bullpen. And Clint Hurdle, it seems, is content to let Kyle Lobstein continue. I looked down there after we made it 4-2, and with the tying run at the plate, kind of looked to see if we'd have anybody loosening, but Lobstein, a little bit of a jam here. Tough going, especially now with Cabrera at the plate. Obviously, look for the double play ball. He got on the ground into a double play back in the 4th.
Lobstein could give you some length, stretched out during spring training. Cabrera drives this one to right center. Long run for Polanco, who's there to make the catch. He had to go a long way into that deep right center.
Boy, did he ever. That's one heck of a play that only great speed can make. And Polanco, see where he's at. You see the angle. The angle's just about perfect. And then Wisely gets it in quickly. Miguel Cabrera thought he had a gap shot and at least 1 RBI, maybe 2. In fact, if it gets down, probably does get 2. Look at that pitch, up and in.
And still hits it to right center. With power.
Good as anybody is fighting those hands inside the ball.
And Polanco, that was a really great route to that ball too. Yeah, you said it. And he has to know the ballpark too, because that wall caroms out there. He has to know that he has a direct path to that ball. Victor Martinez takes a strike. Martinez does not run well. Had a chance here, maybe get a double play ball, get out of the inning. Lobstein got one back in the 4th inning from Cabrera. Now this is one of the ball games we saw in that first week of the season. Pirates kind of stole a couple of games. That one we just talked about, Marte hitting the home run, coming back and beating the Reds in that opener on Friday, and hanging around in that Cardinals game and winning in extra innings. Now this is a game that the Tigers have had men on just about every inning. If they can hold them again here, this might be one that they could sneak out. Tomahawk by Martinez, and this one is foul.
Wow, and Kyle Lobstein, You figure the first 3 batters this inning, it almost looked like the approach was to hit the ball the other way. Kinsler hit a pitch that was off the plate to right. Upton one down the middle to right. Cabrera one inside, he hit to right center. And now he attacks Victor Martinez in. And he got to strike a ball, and I think Martinez wasn't looking to hit the ball to right on the 3rd straight fastball up and in.
Too far down and away that time.
You would think a hitter in this situation, you know, after you hit a ball that far, that deep, pulling it foul on a fastball in, you can kind of forget about seeing another fastball in.
Kinsler at 3rd. Across the diamond, Upton over at 1st. This one is also foul.
Got something off speed in. Again, out in front. See where Cervelli set up, but didn't end up away. It came in right on the inside corner.
Who's going to get the bragging rights today? Two. This one's going to hit the gut in left center. Kinsler in, Upton behind him. He'll score. It's a double for Martinez, and the Tigers get their 2 right back.
Boy, that hurts.
No one's gotten out Victor Martinez today.
He threw this one again down the middle. He hasn't thrown many over the heart of the plate. He wanted this one away, left it middle. Martinez stayed on it. And they get those 2 right back.
And J.D. Martinez hits one down the line. Victor Martinez scores. Another double, and it's quickly 7-2 Detroit. And this tenor of the game changed on 2 pitches. Wow.
And again, very dangerous lineup. They are capable of putting up numbers in a hurry, proving it here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And that was a curveball and off the plate. The only reason this stayed fair is it did get in on him just a little bit. When you get jammed on the ball doesn't hook as much. But Martinez, another guy. We talk about Cabrera and always staying inside and like looks to hit the ball to right center field. Boy, he hit the ball out yesterday off of Jonathan Neese on a cutter that was off the plate in. That was a pretty swing. Not a lot of hitters can do that. Keep a pitch that's off the plate in and keep it fair.
Corey Lupke beginning to loosen. Castellanos has struck out all 3 times today. So back-to-back doubles have plated 3 for the Tigers here in the 6th. You look at what the Pirates have done. They've been leading in so many games, so the guys that pitched with a lead have pitched a lot. And the guys that usually give you some length, Lobstein and Vogelsong. Lobstein with the, if he gets a double play ball, he gets out of it. Instead, on 2 pitches, 2 doubles and 3 runs. But Clint Hurdle has to go with these guys trailing in this game. That'd be great if, you know, in video games, you can just use whoever you want at any time of the game, but the guys get burned out. You can't use them for 115 games or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that is one problem you have when you're up and you're playing close games. You know, your late inning guys, in particular, Felice, Watson, Melanson.
Polanco is going to get there in fair ground. Making a couple of nice catches out there today in this inning.
There's not many right fielders with that kind of speed that can cover that kind of ground. Gregory Polanco with those long strides. Look how far he has to go. And another perfect angle. A straight line.
He's trying not to fall. Trying to move himself over. Playing a nice right field today. Martinez, who plays right field for Detroit. Yeah, I mean, usually you get a nice guy with a good arm and power, and speed isn't always a thing that you get in right field. Very seldom.
You never get that kind of speed. Very rarely. I can't think of anybody with that kind of speed.
I'm still trying to think. I can think of a lot of good right fielders with good power, good arm. Not that kind of big speed. And you're right. Pirates have 3 center fielders. You don't have anybody else that can say that. We've talked about making 3-1 there, but we've talked about, one of the keys to this season for the Pirates to be successful, or even more successful, is Gregory Polanco kind of blossoming and continuing to get better. And 8 games in the season, he certainly has.
Yep. And, we'll continue to get better. I think it's kind of tough. I think as a young player to be labeled as a top prospect and you expect immediate results, at the ultimate level. And I think with Polanco, then he comes in and hits in 11 straight games, and a couple big hits involved in there, and so you expect this guy to just to be one of the best hitters in the game, and it just doesn't work that way. And he is still only 24 years old. I think the best, I'll say I know the best is yet to come. He's going to continue to improve.
Goes with a rip and a miss. Yeah, I mean, everyone lauded, and rightfully so. We talk about some of the Cubs guys that came through. Chris Bryant last year, he went through a prolonged slump, and that's a rare rookie that can be a top guy right away. But he still went through a month and a half, 2 months where he was a pretty easy out.
Yeah. Oh, they'll all go through it.
But that's a long time. That's what I'm saying. For a rookie, yeah. I mean, even though the overall numbers were pretty decent, Kyle Schwarber went through a long stretch where he hit well below 200. A long stretch. So, I mean, this happens to young players. I mean, you just don't see the Fred Linds of the world that come in and are going to be an MVP as a rookie.
You see it with veteran players. Veteran players will go through slumps. Everybody slumps. There's very few people that, there's 0 people that don't slump. Now, the great players, their slumps are shorter than most. They might only last, 3 or 4 or 5 games. But, yeah, young players, almost all of them will face adversity and struggle.
Tigers get 3. It's now 7-2 Detroit.
Last 3 innings to pull out a victory here in Detroit. Twitter Tuesday is today. John Jaso, our guest, was asked by Joy Frank Collins, Jaso, I understand you're a reader. What's the best book you've read recently and why?
I love the Dan Brown books. I've read the whole Robert Langdon series. My favorite is The Lost Symbol. If you haven't read it, read that book. It's awesome.
So there's your latest recommendation for books if anyone has some leisurely or downtime to read. Straight from the mouth of today's guest, John Jaso. Joe?
Well, thanks, Robbie. Rock, you got any books that you're working on right now?
No, but I might go and pick up The Lost Symbol. I was never much of a reader. Then a couple of years ago, I read through the Hunger Games series, and then last year I went through the Game of Thrones. I'm looking forward to the next one coming back. I guess there's supposed to be one more, but yeah, I've never been a big reader until recently, the last few years, and but I like to read.
I like trying to read non-baseball books during the season, and then the off season I miss baseball. I gotta get my baseball books in.
I probably have a dozen baseball books at home. I haven't opened to one of them.
Well, it makes your library look nice.
Drew Verhagen, 5th appearance, 1-0. Is not allowed to run to this point.
Got a couple of batters yesterday, despite loading the bases, and then got that double play ball by Mercer. Harrison is 1 for 3 today. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices, and it includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Michael Morse still looking for his first hit.
Big bender there, catching the inside corner.
A jam job. And a couple of bounce outs for Verhagen. All right, look at our Nissan road ahead, and tomorrow back at PNC Park, Francisco Liriano already making his 3rd start. He'll post Shane Green, and then the new free agent signee Jordan Zimmerman goes against Garrett Cole. A couple of good pitchers, and we'll have that one up for you at noon on Thursday. A lot of day baseball here to begin the year. Liriano opening day, and then Pirates working the rotation to get him in that Cincinnati series to start. With all the off days built in that first week. One and 2 on Jordy Mercer. One 4-2 today. Starling Marte home run in the 6th. That made it a 4-2 game, but it's been pretty much Tigers here today.
Yeah. From the get-go.
Little payback. They've gotten a dozen hits today. Pirates was 17 yesterday. That's a foul ball. We could hear Ron Culpa up here and all throughout Wayne County.
Yep, heard just about every pitch yesterday. He was behind the plate.
I wonder if Ron Culpa and Clint Hurdle could have a you know, like sound of voice contest. They both have very strong voices. Do they have anything like that, like a debate of some sort, maybe?
Sure they could, Joe. You can host it.
Well, I mean, they used to have that. Now we have replay, so we won't hear them debate probably much at all anymore. This one stays fair, though. Mercer is down. Time to stretch. 7-2 Detroit.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, and by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 7th in Detroit. Chilly Tuesday afternoon. The Tigers have reopened the advantage, 7-2. Back-to-back doubles by Martinez and Martinez. And now Corey Lupke.
Yeah, just a couple, just one appearance, 2/3 of an inning, a strikeout, a walk.
Jose Iglesias 0 for 3 today. I'm talking with Lupke yesterday. Boy, he was so thrilled to be back on the mound again. Almost 4 years between outings because of all the injuries. Won't it be nice when we're just talking about Lupke the pitcher and not Lupke the former injured pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, that's, man, I can't imagine. I mean, how long is your career as a baseball player? And, you know, if you're very, very fortunate, maybe it lasts 15 years, and then to have 20% of it wiped away with various injuries consecutively, you know, 3 straight years. I mean, that's a lot to come back with, and, you know, almost a quarter of your career perhaps taken away.
Well, he was a young up-and-coming starting pitcher with the Padres, and right before the 2012 season, this one hit well to left, and Marte runs out of room. Ian Kinsler with a home run. Just not the Pirates' day today. Now 8-2 Detroit.
Detroit hitters locked in. Take a look at the pitch. Fastball 93. That's not a bad location. That's where they wanted to go. As Marte runs out of room and kind of favoring that right arm, maybe the elbow, maybe the funny bone.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. Looks better now. Nothing to laugh at, though. I'll tell you what, if this tells you anything, this underscores what a great job John Neese did yesterday as a left-hander against this heavily right-handed lineup.
Oh, yeah.
It is not easy to face, especially as a left-handed pitcher. Talking with Neese this morning about his outing yesterday, and you know, he felt like he had good fastball command on both sides of the plate, the cutter, and he stayed away from, you know, the slow stuff, the curve and the changeup for the most part, and just kind of worked off the cutter and the fastball. Seemed to work.
When that cutter was moving, it was darting. He was able to throw it the back door to the righties, and he'd throw it to where it started on the plate and ran off.
John Neese traded from the Mets to the Pirates for Neil Walker. The Pirates have not been able to get Justin Upton out today. 4 for 4. Corey Lupke strikes him out.
Got him in swing mode. Good breaking ball from Lupke.
2 away for Miguel Cabrera. And now Buck Farmer. Get loose. The bullpen's out there in left center field. Nice vantage point for the relievers. Get to watch the game. Did you ever wear sunglasses on day games like Cabrera's doing?
No.
You don't see it a whole lot.
Yeah, that's, I mean, some guys are comfortable with it, some aren't.
In the field, sure. Reggie Jackson always liked to wear the sunglasses.
What you don't see anymore is flip downs.
I saw Cole Figueroa wore them the other day, but not as prevalent. Everybody used to have them.
It's rare to see them. You'd see more sunglasses on top of the hat than you see flip downs.
I'll give you that. But it looks cool, especially when you flip them upside down and they fit so nice on that flat brim hat. See, look at how cool that is. Can't see nothing. I shouldn't tease him. He's made a couple nice plays out there and right today.
Well, I understand why you wouldn't. I think some players aren't comfortable wearing them unless they have to, and so you go out there not knowing where the sun is, or if the sun obviously is moving. Or is it the earth moving?
Well, that's semantics.
But sometimes you go out there and you need them. Sometimes you don't. So I don't blame a guy for wearing one on top of his hat if the sun is not a factor. But obviously, if the sun is a factor, they're useless on top of your brim of the cap.
Victor Martinez wearing them today. I think Ghost has been wearing them. A lot of the Tigers choose to go with them. One's retired Martinez today. Single, a double, a couple of walks. That big double last time around in the 6th. And made a 4-2 game 6-2 just like that. And that ends the inning. Tigers get another on the Kinsler home run. Marte home run made it a 4-2 game. Thought the Pirates might be able to steal this one. They got a long road to hoe here, though. Down 8-2. Ian Kinsler with the home run, tacking on another tally for the Tigers. And Buck Farmer in the ball game. Starts off Matt Joyce. There's Pause. That's the Tigers mascot. P-A-W-S, not like, you know, on your
remote control.
Yeah. I was going to say your VCR.
What's that?
Oh boy, right. Right on your, you know, your cassette tape player on your boombox. It's these moments that I realize life has slowly passed me by.
Buck Farmer. Not the best start. 4 punch outs in 2 1/3 innings. He's walked 1. So I'm guessing he gave up 2 earned runs in 2 1/3 to get that 7.71 ERA.
Some good math. George Rooney Farmer walks Joyce to start the 8th inning. Out of Conyers, Georgia. Went to Georgia Tech. Corey Lupke with an inning of work there in the 7th. See him back and healthy, and the more he pitches, the better his command's going to be. Andrew McCutchen up to bat.
We got a better look at him. If Ben would have moved, there we go.
Lefty missed about half of spring training with a hamstring concern, and finally got healthy and showed enough with that velocity and a couple of sharp sliders last inning that. Okay, and this stuff is going to play. Just the consistency now as he gets more and more work.
Yep. Good count for Andrew.
Make this interesting. Good pitch.
Fans really liked it.
Well, you know. Got a 6-run lead for 6 balls. The old Bronx cheer.
That's kind of frustrating as a hitter too. You know, you see a guy can't control the ball, has no idea where it's going his first 6 pitches, then you go up there and he paints 2 pitches. Perfect location, that 2-1 pitch. Changeup.
And McCutchen strikes out for the 2nd time today.
You don't see many right-on-right changeups. Look at it break straight down. It may have been a slider, but I got the catcher Saltalamacchia put down the wiggle. So the wiggle is usually the changeup.
They say change up on pitch effects, but it looked like it had a little spin on it. I don't know.
I mean, it had good downward movement, and it looked like they had a little break away from the right-handed batter. You don't see that much from a changeup.
One, two. Still 8-2 Tigers.
by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And the Pirate faithful hoping for a late rally. 8-2 Detroit. Saw a lot of Pittsburghers make their way here in this. I mean, this is a designated rivalry series, and over the years now starting to become a fun one because of the proximity. J.D. Martinez has 4 hits today. And these two teams will take on each other again back at PNC Park. And our WB Mason pregame will start at noon on Thursday, our next telecast back in Pittsburgh. The old Chuck Woolery series, the 2-2.
I get it.
You have to be of a certain age for that one. All right. McCutcheon hauls in Castellanos' fly. He's 0 for 5 today, and now Jared Saltalamacchia.
Most folks probably don't realize that Chuck Woolery did the Wheel of Fortune.
I'm one of those folks, and I'm a game show aficionado. I did not realize that. He preceded Pat Sajak, is that right?
Yeah. I thought that's where that came from. 2-2. We'll be back in 2-2. What game show did
I
he do
was
that?
talking about Love Connection, which I watched as a 10-year-old, which is disturbing. I don't know why, but there wasn't a lot of television back in the 80s, so.
There wasn't?
Never had cable at that young age, so. Take what you can get. Oh, he hosted Scrabble too, that Chuck Woolery.
He did?
You and I like Scrabble.
I never saw Scrabble.
Well, we play Words with Friends, so that's like kind of like Scrabble.
Oh, well, I know that, but the show Scrabble.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think I've ever watched.
They had the plunger.
Oh.
You know, yeah, and they had, stop the thing, and the tiles you pick up, that's how you got your letters. An N and a Q. Oh, Q. Chuck Woolery. There's a G and a B. I'd like to buy a vowel. There you go.
Snatched it up.
They dropped it. Where's the ball? Oh, thank you. So excited.
I was wondering, what's the etiquette if you reach over and field a ball with your glove, and as you bring it into the seating area and you drop it, and somebody else grabs it?
Ooh.
What's the ruling?
I think, and if it's with your buddies give it back to you. If it's somebody else, I think you can steal it. Ooh.
And high pop-up landing below us here. A couple of young
They
fans.
might set that on fire to keep warm. Look how cold they look today.
Yeah. It doesn't feel that cold.
Marte has got this one for the second out in the 8th.
The center fielder, Anthony Goes.
And Longo says that, well, that's a good idea. They're starting a petition for John Wader to host a remake of Reading Rainbow. Considering all your literary exploits lately, I think that's a great idea. LeVar Burton's got nothing on you. I really think.
I see. I don't get it. I never saw Reading Rainbow.
How did that? Reading Rainbow is a classic show. I think it's still on. I don't know if LeVar. Yeah, I don't think. Maybe LeVar Burton's still doing it. I don't know, but I know it's still on. I think. Yeah, you could learn about books. think it's like take a look and read a book on reading rainbow, right? Yeah. So it encourages kids to read, and they read books. And you know, me as a new parent, I'm going to have our kids watch that show, so I don't have to read to them. I want someone else to do it for me.
I don't think the ratings would be very strong if I was hosting any show.
You're on one.
Wouldn't be a good hire.
Well, you tell your agent.
Agent?
Just get on a.
I didn't have an agent when I played, let alone now. I did have an agent.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did you work all those multi-year deals that way? Freeze, he'll get this one. And Corey Lupke with a nice inning, stranding that leadoff single. Ninth on its way, still 8-2 Detroit. So our free shirt Fridays. And Friday, the Bucks battle the Brewers at 7:05. Be one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates, and you receive a free Pirates t-shirt presented by Point Park University. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. That is a heated rivalry right there, I think. Starling Marte will lead things off in the ninth, and when he batted in the sixth, this one a little bit closer with that 2-run home run.
Pretty good vibes after that one. That fastball. Marte takes advantage of the mistake. Cut the lead in half at the time.
Facing the Tigers closer.
Already blown a save, Francisco Rodriguez, the veteran.
Has not pitched in 6 days, so just getting some work with a 6-run lead. Yeah, that's something that he hardly did. The last year went more than a calendar year without failing to convert a save.
It doesn't throw very hard, has the big curveball, and usually locates it pretty well. And works, tries to work down in the zone. Good deception.
That's a fair ball. And extra bases for Marte. That one less than a foot fair. Marte with a couple of extra base hits today.
And went down and got that pitch. We'll see here another fastball. Look, all 3 pitches not in the zone. He did get the first one called a strike.
Just the 5th hit for the Pirates today after 17 yesterday. Cervelli 0 for 2 with a walk. It's this one well to center. But Ghosts, plenty of room here. That'll move up Marte with one out, and Gregory Polanco coming up.
Probably hit that hard. I wonder how good he got it. Obviously 420. There's a long way to go, but the crack of the bat sounded like he caught that one pretty good.
Now K-Rod, the active saves leader and the active games pitched leader, and he's 34 years old. He's been around a long time already. Gregory Polanco, a nice day in the field, 0 for 2 with a walk. His major league leading 10th walk. Trying to score Marte from third. And what a play by Cabrera.
It has to be frustrating for Gregory Polanco. I'm thinking at least an RBI, probably a base hit and an RBI. And yeah, that's a heck of a play by Cabrera. Despite the score 8-2, able to cross over, dive, and get that ball 6 inches off the dirt.
Harrison takes a strike. $26,489 here today. JD Martinez, a 4-hit day, a couple of RBIs.
Changeup. Always been a good pitch for K-Rod.
Reinventing himself after being that hard thrower with the Angels early in his career.
Yeah, how could you forget that?
That's where he got that nickname.
Yep.
1-2. Buried one that time. Good stop by Saltalamacchia. Marte with a leadoff double. A couple of hits today. Tigers trying to even this series up and take it back to Pittsburgh. Two. And K-Rod comes on. Get the final outs. And this one very much all Tigers today. 8-2 the final.
Yeah, from the get-go. We just couldn't figure it out from the pitching mound, and couldn't figure it out at the plate either. Maybe a couple of opportunities in the second and third inning against Sanchez, but yeah, this is one of those games where the Tiger bats were hot. They made the Pirates pay for some walks and such, hit a couple long balls, and the offense just didn't have it all going like we've seen in the first 7 games.
And we found out that Juan Nicasio is human. He gets the loss today. Sanchez the victor. And let's go back to our studios with Robin Teak.